Hello, welcome to another episode of Bunny Hugs and Mental Health. I'm your host, Todd Rennebaum. Hey, hit subscribe and like and all that other stuff that people on YouTube tell you to do. And, keep watching more videos. There's all types of videos of wonderful people and wonderful stories and adversity and all that on this channel. And other people's channels, I guess, too. But anyway, on this particular episode, I'm speaking with Tessa, and this originally aired in September 2022 on the audio version, which is on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and all that stuff. And Tessa is diagnosed with NPD, or narcissistic personality disorder, and we spoke about a lot of the myths around it and what it's actually like to have it, and maybe some of the myths are true, and we talk about her diagnosis. So without further ado, I give you Tessa.
I can't believe this. Oh my God, I'm really on a podcast.
Well, I don't know why you're nervous. You have your own podcast.
Oh, because the thing with narcissists, this is like a thing. I've talked to a lot of them, and we like control. We like to have like the editing. We like to, it's a self-image thing. It's like, give us absolute control of the editing, we want to appear a certain way. So this is actually a very big step out of my comfort zone to do this. And I was like, I brought my friend over. I was like, hype me up, please. He spent the whole day. He took me shopping. He was like, we got an outfit for this, like specifically. I was just like, yeah, man, you gotta hype me up.
Well, you look beautiful.
Thank you.
When you say friend, is is that your empath?
No, it's another friend.
Okay.
My empath, yeah, he lives with me, but yeah, he's very supportive too.
Okay. Good.
Supportive people. I'm very lucky. I'm very blessed. I have two people in my real life who accept me. It's not very much. It's really weird because, like, with a diagnosis like I have, you don't get a lot of people who accept you. It's not something you can just share with the world. Like, I have NPD,
Well, for me, at my age, I'm the opposite. It's there's not too many people I want in my life.
Really?
It's like, two friends, that's good. I'm good with that.
Yeah, you like to keep your circle small, huh? Yeah. It's honestly, I'm the same way, which is like interesting. I think people think that narcissists want just like a ton of friends, but we're individuals, which is what I want to stress so much to people. Like, a lot of people want to just think that all narcissists are the same, or like all of them want like a ton of friends to just like, well, okay, there is some truth to that. I want to be seen as like really popular. I'm gonna be honest. But I actually do just want a like inner circle of people who just accept me and really just like me for who I am. And I've started wanting that more and more as I kind of go along with my self-awareness journey and become more authentic. I just want to settle down, man, and just like have somewhat of a normal life. I'm tired.
Yeah.
I'm tired,
Well, when I quit drinking about 6 years ago, that was kind of my self journey, and it was like my friendships went from quantity to quality. You know what I mean? It's like I want good quality friends now. I don't want just a bunch of people I like drinking with.
Yeah. Like, I used to feel like I just wanted a bunch of quantity over quality because that's what looks cool. And sometimes I feel like I still live in high school. I'm going to be honest. Like, I wanted the image of just a bunch of friends, and now I'm just tired. I mean, I developed PTSD because of my psychedelic experience, and that's what originally made me become self-aware. And I'm just tired now. Like, I just want to have somewhat of a decent, like, happy life. And that's originally why I started my page, because I'm tired of the stigma. I'm tired of like people having this one image of NPD, Yeah.
And I mean, I'll be honest, I've learned a lot from your page and from just other cluster B pages I started following in the last year or so,
Yeah.
and yeah, it's eye opening. It's like, oh, and it makes sense, right? I mean, it's almost all mental illnesses and disorders are like trauma based. So then it's like once you realize that, and once you kind of dig into your own traumas, then you kind of have some empathy for people other than just, oh, they're
Mm.
manipulative little fuckers, and oh, they just want to see me get destroyed, and it's like, oh no,
Yeah.
they're suffering. They're not assholes.
I'm curious, like, what's something that you used to believe that you kind of learned from my page that you don't believe anymore as much?
Mostly the I guess that you guys you people
You people over there.
that you're suffering from this. It's not like you choose to
It's,
be this
mm,
way, and that it's a disorder. Also, that it's a disorder, which means you can be
yeah,
treated. It's not,
it's manageable. I
yeah.
feel I'm suffering every day, if I'm being honest. Like I'm always going through something. And I don't like to admit that a lot of times, but it's more than just like um we just go around like hurting people and just getting off scot-free, which I feel like a lot of those posts about narcissists try to like emulate, or like not emulate, what's the word, like portray.
Mhm.
Like they just post like I mean, you see it everywhere, like the narcissist does this and they just like try to hurt you, they're out to get you, and then they just go and sleep and they sleep like a baby, and like it's like, what are you doing, you know?
Mhm.
Like
Mhm.
it all comes across like that. I mean, I'm not a big fan of talking about my suffering, but like um I feel like it's just it's hard to I'm sorry. I'm like backing out. I'm backing out. I want to talk about it, but I don't know how. Maybe you could like ask me a question. I
Sure.
want to give
First, I would like to kind of relate.
mm,
So when I was drinking and using and stuff,
yeah.
I kind of the other day kind of compared all cluster B's to addiction. And it's like, well, maybe addiction should actually be in the cluster B, because people
Mm.
look at people with addiction and, oh, they're fucking low lives and they're all assholes and they'll steal from you and all this stuff.
Oh my God.
And it's like,
No.
well, yeah, we kind of do when we're untreated, right? When we're untreated and we're completely unaware. And when I was sick, I was a bastard. But now that,
That's stigma right there. Exactly. And like the thing is, not everyone who has an addiction is also going to do those behaviors. So
right,
right,
right.
that's stigma. You
Mm-hmm.
you've been in it. Like you know what
Yeah,
it's like. It's
yeah.
terrible, isn't it? It fucking sucks.
But once you start to treat it and manage it, and I was also suffering. Like I wasn't in a good place being an addict. Like I was like, this fucking sucked. My life is hell right now, and I'm just causing hell all around me. So, I kind of wonder if like if addiction shouldn't be somewhat. Well, they do call it a substance disorder. So I guess a disorder is manageable and whatnot. So
Yeah, I can
anyway.
relate to that. When I was undiagnosed and unself-aware, I was a I was a little shit. I'll just say that. Like and once again, not every narcissist is going to be abusive. And I want to put that out there because something like exploiting somebody is only one of the criteria, and it's
Exploding,
exploiting, like
exploiting.
exploiting
Sorry, you're
exploding.
blowing people up.
One of the criteria, I guess. No, but like people always bring that up. Oh, narcissists exploit you. Like they take from you, they fuck with you, like whatever. That's only one of the criteria, and you only need like 5 out of 9, I think, to be diagnosed. So not all of them will be abusive, but I was one of them that was. And when I was unself-aware, I had like an ex, and I was with him for 4 years, and God, I don't want to go into it too much, but I did kind of ruin the man's life. I'll just like it was bad. I did some
Shouldn't laugh.
things. You
At
shouldn't
the time,
laugh.
he's good now. Is his life okay now?
He was a terrible person. You can laugh,
Oh,
honestly. He was terrible. He
okay.
No, exactly. We're glad that he was a terrible person. He was also abusive. It's a long story, but
Mm,
terrible relationship. Glad that I never am gonna see him again. But like the point is, I mean, like I was in a similar situation to you. I mean, like when you're suffering, when you're untreated, you're gonna do some shit sometimes. And I think people need to see the bigger picture, if that makes sense. Like,
hmm
instead of throwing stigmatizing stuff at people, it's not helping anyone. Like who is it helping when people are posting this stuff? That's what I really want people to think about. I've been telling people this like for so long. When you're posting these hate posts, who is it helping? Is it helping abuse survivors? Because it's saying horrible stuff like, I've seen I've seen some stuff saying like narcissists should all be put on an island and just like
mm.
I'm serious. Like just like left to just hang out all with each other, or like narcissists should be like executed, or like they should be like whatever. It's terrible shit. And it's like spreading hate when we should be spreading healing on both sides. Like tell abuse survivors the signs of emotional abuse. Why do you need to bring a diagnosis like NPD into it?
hmm
Like narcissistic abuse. I mean, we aren't going around saying like ADHD abuse, but people with ADHD can be abusive. We aren't saying addiction abuse, but people with addiction can be abusive.
Oh, there's
Like
definitely negative memes about addiction too, but
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, there can be. Or like people with depression can be
It's very
they,
selfish. Well,
they
I was
can be
very
selfish.
selfish. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to come at you or anything for like anything.
No, no, yeah, I'm
Like,
good.
yeah, like exactly. Like what I'm trying to say is like, why don't we jump on that bandwagon? And I want to make it like aware to people that there's this guy out there called Sam Vaknin, and he created these terms like narcissistic abuse, and he started spreading them around, and everyone started hopping on this bandwagon,
Mm.
and now it's become this pop culture thing. But I don't believe it needs to be a thing. I think it's harmful. I think that it keeps these people who are like desperate because they've been through real abuse. They've really been hurt. They're now going around in their heads, is my abuser a narcissist? Are they, do they have NPD? Oh my God, I think they did. I hate narcissists. And then the worst of them, they go on the internet and they attack anyone with NPD. They've come on my page, they've harassed me, they've harassed my followers. And these are strangers. Like,
hmm
and I don't understand how how they think it's okay to like, I mean, they're strangers. Like how do you attack a random stranger just because you think like your ex had that diagnosis? Like,
Yeah.
we're individuals, right? Like
Yeah. Yeah.
that doesn't
And
make sense to me, you
and
know?
even if your ex is narcissist, like
It's hard.
you're more than just your diagnosis. It's like,
Oh my God, absolutely. And people don't believe that either. They think like, well, I mean, in my opinion, it's complicated because
hmm
when you have a personality disorder, um, God, I kind of see it as like having, maybe this isn't the best description, but like a cancer. It like invades every part of you, but at the same time, you are an individual. You have your own likes and dislikes and dreams and hopes. And I have talked to other narcissists personally, and some of them are my best friends. And like, we are very different. Like, we have different humor, we have different life stories. I mean, we have different, some of us are like introverted, some of us are extroverted.
well,
We
even
have
like you
different
said,
vibes. We're individuals. Yeah.
yeah, and even like you said, you even have different symptoms.
Oh yeah, exactly. Like,
Yeah.
I think the only thing that's similar about us is like our general way of reacting to trauma. Like,
hmm
for example, insults, narcissists can tend to be like hypersensitive to insults because, like, if you feel slighted or like your self image, like my self image, for example, feels like very reliant on exactly what other people think of me because I view the world as like you are what other people say about you. And I think that goes for everybody. Like if
hmm
people think you are pretty, then you're pretty. If people think you're ugly, then you're ugly. I just think that's how it is. I think like if people think you're successful, you are. If they think you're not, you aren't. If they think you're charismatic, you are. If they think like everything relies on other people. So
I am old, fat, and hairy.
I know. Did someone say that to you? Oh my God. I will,
No.
whoever that person is, I will go and I will like talk to them personally now. Like, I am so mad.
Oh, no. I don't know. Maybe someone did. I'm just being a.
You're amazing and your podcast is incredible. So there you go.
Oh,
You heard
well, thank you.
You heard it from me now.
Okay. So I am amazing. Well, my podcast, that has nothing to do with me really in a way. But anyway.
Yeah. But like that's what I believe. So like, you know, if you think like that, your self-image is like, yeah, like if anyone says anything about you, it's like your whole world is gonna collapse, right? Yeah.
That's pretty common with all the cluster Bs, isn't it? It's like they take rejection and criticism pretty hard. Well, I mean, it can be, right? Because all the symptoms, you need 5 out of the 9 or whatever, but that's...
Well, I can't speak. I'm not going to speak too much for the other cluster Bs, but I think so. I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I think like with borderline personality and stuff, it's very...
Yeah. I mean, I have a bestie with borderline, but I try not to speak for the other ones. I only post about NPD because I feel like they'll come for me if I post misinformation. We're all very sensitive. It's like living on a minefield.
So you're also smart. That's good. That's good.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
So what was your early life like? Like, was it full of trauma, or were you like a nice simple family and everything was good, and then boom, you got NPD?
How I wish it was nice and simple at any point. Oh my God. It's more like it was never, I had 19 years of just never ending. God, how do I explain this? The words won't come out. I actually make up a childhood for myself because I would rather do that. I did not like my childhood at all. Like, do you want me to be honest? Do you want the long story?
Of course. Yes.
Why did I even ask that? I'm so sorry. Do you want the long story or the short story? Or like
I want the long story, baby.
Okay.
I don't know why I called you baby just then.
It's okay. It's okay. It's all good. So,
By the way, I'm very proud of you right now.
Thank you. Yeah, this is a hard question. I told you that over DMs. So I did not have like a normal childhood at all, to a point where I actually cut off myself into like 3 different categories. I don't consider my like I basically like I'm a very fragmented person, and I don't consider my past to be me, because I don't like anything about it. So this is gonna be like hard for people to comprehend, but I have like a past self, and I'm just like I'm not that person. And then I just have like me now. So it's so confusing.
No, I get it. It's almost like DID in a way.
Yeah.
Kinda.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
It's very complicated. DID is more where like people have like multiple multiple people inside them that will like front. So like let's just say like I'm a person that's staring at you right now, and then there's like multiple people inside me that will come to the front right now. But I it's not like that. It's more like I'm just like I was
totally wrong, actually. Now they say
that. Yeah, no, it's okay. I'm educating you. It's all good.
I spoke to someone with DID last week, so
really?
I should know better.
No, it's okay. I'll remind you. But like it's I knew a lot of people. I know a lot of people actually with DID, but and NPD too. It's interesting how there's people with both, but like it's more like I just cut off my past, and I just never looked back. And I feel like the way I became the way I am is like I had so much trauma just like daily, and it just never ended. And when you go through that sort of suffering, one day you just decide that like you're done with your life as it is, and like you're done with everything and you're done with yourself. So um I started like I just hated everything about my past. You can take that however you want to, but like I remember there was a point where I decided I was so tired of not getting any attention. And I was just like, there was so much like neglect and like watching other people like get what I wanted so bad. So I like decided that I would um sorry, this is like kind of hard. Like become the main character. And I would do that any way that I could. And even if it meant being inauthentic to myself. So I always idolized people growing up. And so I would like realize that these people were getting a lot of attention, and I would kind of like take from them, like mimic that, because I saw that like, oh, this person's really great. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Um,
You began to emulate them because you put them on a pedestal and you thought their
mm,
life was really
yeah,
um
and it could be like celebrities or even like characters from a movie or anything like that. And I kept doing that for years. I was like, I'm not a normal person. I'm very fucked up. But like and it was like a hobby. It was like all I did sometimes. And it started out just like being me at home, but then I would start doing it in social situations. And like I did that while repressing everything about my past, and I was determined to become perfect. In my head, that was like I was like cheating life. I would be like the perfect person by taking all these traits from all these people I deemed perfect myself. If that makes sense.
literal life hack.
Yeah. Kind of. I mean, am I making sense?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Yeah. I know, like I'm like confusing and fascinating. So like I'm like so I don't even know if I make sense half the time I'm speaking. So like yeah, I did that for like literal years until like I forgot at a certain point I forgot who I used to be. And there was a point in life where I was really lost, and I even lost my identity, and I almost qualified more for like I think like BPD at a certain point, because I was just so confused and like empty and inside. And but I kept going until like I kind of like I became like this person that I considered perfect, and that's like who I feel I am now. Um but then there's like another part to it where my life took an insane turn, and I took psychedelics, and I had this psychedelic trip, and I became like really too aware of myself. I developed PTSD. Yeah, my life was shattered, and that's how I found this community. And I um for a while I wished it didn't happen, because it made me way too aware of who I really was, who I like was deep down, and what I really felt inside and everything. But um I wouldn't look back, you know, like I'm more
Mm-hmm.
happy and more authentic than I've ever felt and been, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you were kind of suppressing your actual life,
So much shit.
and
Yeah.
then you created your own kind of persona, and then when you did
Yeah, but it
mushrooms, or
yeah.
I'm assuming they were mushrooms when you're doing psychedelics.
It wasn't mushrooms at first. It was so the thing that I originally had like an ego death on. Like, do you know what that is? Like an ego death trip. It's
No.
oh God. Some people are insane. They chase this like the ultimate psychedelic people. You know, the people that are like, I want to have the ultimate trip, man. Let's do this. They taste this ego death trip, and it's where you lose all lines of your sense of self and you become one with everything. I don't know if that sounds familiar.
That sounds, yeah. I
Yeah,
want
it's
that too,
that.
bro.
Oh my God, no, you don't. I'm just like,
I want to
I mean,
be.
I just want to be consciousness, man. I just want to be consciousness, and that's it.
I mean, honestly, they say that if you embrace it, it's supposed to be great. But I fought it because ego death is like, I think it's like the worst thing that could happen to someone like me. I mean, your literal ego dissolves. And when it happened to me, it was the worst thing ever. Like, it happened when I was with my ex. So he was not a safe person to do it with.
Mm.
And I took way too many edibles, and I think they were laced. And that's how it originally happened. And yeah, I had my ego just like died. And I became way too self-aware, and I developed PTSD from it because it was so scary. And I fought it. And like, yeah, that's how I became, because like they say like narcissists have a problem with like realizing themselves, you know? Like they just go around and do shit and they don't know why.
Like lack of empathy and all that.
Well, yeah, there's that.
That's what I always hear anyway.
Yeah, there's that, but also like there's this thing where like they don't know why they do what they do. They just kind of like act. And there's a lot of like lack of awareness of a lot of things. I always say it's like a diagnosis of repression. Like you're repressing all your emotions, you're repressing all your trauma. It's just boiling there beneath the surface, and you're lashing out. Sometimes maybe you're doing, I mean, not every narcissist is going to lash out, and not every narcissist is going to be abusive, but some are, some aren't. Maybe sometimes it's going to go in and like withdraw, but there's a lot of narcissists out there, unself-aware, running around just like suffering, and they don't even know they're suffering. They refuse to admit it a lot of times. They just like shut that out. I know I would refuse to admit I was depressed, even when I was being tested for my diagnosis, because that was before my psychedelic trip. Like I was just like, they would ask me questions like, "Are you depressed?" Me? No. I would just be like, "No." Like, "Do you experience anxiety?" No, not me. Like, like, like I would say, I'm like, am I talking too much?
No.
Okay. I just realized you hadn't asked me a question in like so long.
The episode's about this, so that's nobody wants to hear me talk.
Yeah, I'm just like, okay. But anyway, yeah, like they just I don't know how to explain it, but like there's a lack of like self-reflection for sure that is there, that I think really needs to be broken through. And I have a lot of people come onto my page and ask me like, how can I save my narcissist? How can I help them realize themselves so I can help them heal? And a lot of times the narcissist is not in a place where they can self-reflect, and they're just, you know, it usually takes a major life event like psychedelics or yeah, or honestly the death of a loved one, a major financial loss, or like a job loss. Like maybe they were a CEO at a company and really really valued that job, and then they got fired, and then they were just like, oh my god, my life is over. Maybe they tried to off themselves. That does happen sometimes. It's tragic, but like they ended up somewhere and they were like, I need to take a second look at myself. It's usually something really, really major.
It sounds a lot like addiction, like hitting rock bottom or whatever. Yeah.
It kind of is.
Trying to force someone to be better, and they're like, no, I'm not ready until I'm
ready.
No,
it's so crazy. It kind of is like addiction, but it's addiction to like feeling good about like
avoiding feelings.
Yeah, avoiding feelings. Avoiding feelings and feeling like getting praise. Like it's almost an addiction to that. Like avoiding yourself and feeling good about yourself and not facing yourself ever.
I think, well, it's something I've been learning in the last year or so is like most disorders it's about just surviving. And that's what they need to do. These people, you know, need to do to survive. It's a defense mechanism. It's what it's what helped them get through life. And I think your psychedelic trip was actually ultimately a good thing because it did start your healing journey. You had to stop avoiding those feelings and your trauma and stuff. And you had to deal with it to be able to heal and and move
And
forward.
I think it was ultimately a good thing, but I want to stress that like it wasn't easy for sure. Like
No, yeah.
I almost didn't make it. I did contemplate, like I was not in a good place several times. I was very depressed sometimes. I almost didn't make it. Yeah, I do want to say that it was hard. And I do think that it proves that like those defense mechanisms are there for a reason. So I want to stress that like when people talk about NPD, they need to realize that like it is a protection from serious pain. Like it's not just like these people chose to be this way, that they're just like out there being bad people and like getting no consequences. I mean, when you're fucking with a narcissist defense mechanisms and trying to like nudge it and like you know, like a lot of people are just like, why can't they just stop? You know, because they can be little shits. I'm not gonna lie, they can be more than that. I mean, there's some nasty combinations out there. I mean, some narcissists do have like more traits on top of the NPD that can make them break the law. I mean, there's been some cases out there. I understand. I'm validating the trauma that can happen with abuse and stuff like that. But like what I'm trying to say is like when you're poking at defenses like that, you're messing with stuff that kept the person alive for their childhood. You don't know what someone's gone through.
It's like cornering a scared bear and poking it.
Yeah. And that was the case with me. I had to work through, like, after my psychedelic experience, I had to work through layers of trauma. And I did not get along well with therapists. So I I still have not gotten along well with therapists. And I've had to do my own CBT and
you're your own therapist now.
Yeah, I do.
You know how unhealthy that sounds?
Great. What?
You know how unhealthy that sounds? So I prescribe myself psychedelics and CBT.
Does it really? I mean, it's been working for me so far.
Okay, well, that's good.
I gotta admit, I was in a lot of emotional distress though last week, and I was just like, I don't know how much longer I can hold out though. Like, I think I need to reconsider maybe going to there's this really good guy, Eric Russ. For anyone with NPD who is watching this, he's like very renowned and he's done several studies on NPD and like actually coined like I think like the oscillation between like covert and overt narcissism, which for anyone who doesn't know what I'm talking about, people try to say there's two types of narcissists, overt and covert, and that like a narcissist is one or the other. And it's found at like pathological levels that narcissists oscillate between the two. So if it's a true narcissist, they can be vulnerable sometimes and also really grandiose, and it depends on life events. Anyway, I'm nerding out, but like I've actually been getting really into psychology. I'm going to go back to college for that, but
awesome.
Yeah, but like what was I saying? Oh yeah, so just for anyone who's listening, he's a good therapist, but God, what was I saying before that? It was really important.
Well, you were considering going back to, you had emotion
going back to therapy. Yeah. I have so far done self-therapy just because I had the most terrible experience with therapy, and my diagnosis was terrible experience. Just the neuropsychologist was awful. That's a whole nother story, but my therapist after being diagnosed was like, he said he specialized in NPD, and this was when I was going through PTSD, so I was hyper vigilant. I was having panic attacks every day, and as a narcissist, like to go through that type of emotion, you have this little voice in the back of your brain that's been trained to not appear weak. And when you're at your job and you're having like a panic attack at your job, that little voice wants to say, what are you even doing? Like, how dare you? Like, this isn't you. Like, you can't be pathetic. Like, what are you doing? So like my self-image was this close to like fucking like like imploding. And I was just like desperate. I was so desperate. I went to therapy. Okay. And I was just like, I'll do anything to feel better. And my goal was to just feel better and get the hell out of there. I'm gonna be honest. I was just like, I want to feel better, and I'm never coming back. And then,
Okay, thank you. I'm cured. Bye.
yeah, literally. I know, just zooming on out of there. And then, yeah, and I was like, I he said he specialized in NP, and then he took a lot of my money, while not really saying much of value. And then one day he just said, I don't think I can help you, after taking like $2,000 from me. And I was furious.
American.
Yeah, no,
I'm in Canada. That's even more.
No, like I mean, like over a long period of time. He was 150 per session though. So that's very, I don't know if that's a common price.
It's about that.
Yeah. No, but that's messed up after so many sessions adding up. I was furious. I was just like, should have told me off the start.
That's like 15, 16 sessions.
Literally, I was just so furious. So I left immediately, and I was just like, I'm done. And now I do self-medicate with shrooms, and every time I do it, it lets out so much emotion. And I'm normally a fairly shallow emotion person. Like, I'll have emotions float across the surface of me, but it doesn't go deep. And then when I take these shroom sessions, I'll be screaming at the mirror, or like raging out privately in my room, or like crying. Like, and I don't cry often, and like it lets out some shit. I don't know what it is, but it's repressed, and I can't tell what I'm feeling half the time. So like, whatever it is, I needed it. That's self-therapy. And then I'll do CBT worksheets, and I'll download them, and I'll just like work through my thoughts. And I feel like this is so important because I want people to know that like NPD can be managed, like the symptoms, like the lashing out. Why does that happen? You know, like, why do narcissists lash out? Because there's so much repressed bitterness and rage and fucking like resentment at maybe parents, at siblings, at whatever you want to list, bullies, friends, anyone in that childhood vicinity. God, like whatever that rage and all that shit.
Whoever
like,
is involved in the trauma, really.
All, and it's not just one trauma. It's like years. It's like decades. I had 19 years of shit, like, just built up, and like, you need to let that out, and it's not just gonna heal overnight. And I honestly feel like it's so deep. I mean, I was already having weird thoughts at like 4 years old, so you know that shit goes back. And I remember like looking up at my teacher at like age 4 and just like having like this weird thought of like, God, like, I don't know, like, I wish you were my mom. I don't know. It was just weird. It's just like, I know that something was going on like really young. So like,
what is your relationship with your parents like? Or is that kind of
a little bit? My empath would describe it as like a beautiful.
Your empath being your partner?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I forgot to say, I call him my empath. It's cute. I don't want to. People have actually gotten mad at me for romanticizing that dynamic, the empath narcissist dynamic, but it's just like a cute nickname. I call him. People can stay mad, whatever. It's cute.
Yeah, I'm pretty upset about it.
Yeah. Well, you know, screw you. No, I'm just kidding.
That's fair. That's fair.
No. But yeah, what was I saying? Yeah.
He's describing your parents.
He's been over to my house a lot, and he's shy, but he stayed in the background, and he talks to them sometimes. He's gotten to know them basically over a long period of time, and he described it as like a golden egg with nothing inside, because they are very well off. They have like a little $1 million home just sitting in the hills. We go visit them, and they just I mean, they're pretty normal looking people on the outside. They don't do anything strange. They're just living the life. I have two siblings that are younger brothers who I literally have no relationship with.
Mm.
I don't connect to them. They don't connect to me. It feels like we're all constantly in competition with each other. Literally for Mother's Day, oh my God. My brother, I mean, this just says my family dynamic right here. My brother bought my mother a mug that just said like from your favorite child or something. And like I was literally like, I'm so sorry that you feel the need to show that through a mug. Like we all know I'm the favorite child. I'm just saying. Like why you feel the need to show that through a mug? Like, okay.
Insecure much?
I know, right? Like, I mean, I'm the favorite child because I am the most successful. I have my own apartment. I have my own car, which I bought myself. I got the good looks in the family. I'm gonna be honest. They know. They know
You
that.
sound like such a narcissist.
I'm sorry. I feel defensive right now because that mug pissed me off. I was like looking at that mug and I was just like, I was mad.
Yeah, well, I'm hot.
I was like, oh, I should have thought of that. No, but it made me, I have never, I get sad though. Like I think it's sadness. I'm not sure. Like there's some emotion there where I wish I had siblings that I didn't feel that way about.
Mm-hmm.
I never had like that connection to them. It's just weird. Like I'll see like TV shows where there's like kids and like they're all siblings and they're connecting, and like one of my favorite celebrities has that dynamic with their family, and I'm just like,
Who's that?
Oh, I don't I don't want to share that because she inspired like so many of my mannerisms and stuff. Everyone wants to know. It's a theory on my page. They're like, who is she? No.
Oh, I'll edit it out.
No way. Not gonna do it. But anyway, yeah, like it's just like seeing that from someone else, it's like, man, what did I miss out on sometimes? Like,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, but like,
It is weird. Like, I know families that are so close, it's almost creepy. It's like,
no, like,
oh, we all take our holidays together and we all hang out all week together.
that also freaks me out.
Fuck?
That's like the other end of the spectrum where it's like, oh my God, that's a little much.
Absolutely.
You know, like I can't, I've had this family my whole life where I can't even imagine like a supportive family or like a close family. Like I almost like can't imagine it. It freaks me out.
Well, I mean,
Oh
like
God.
my family's supportive, but to spend an entire week with them, fuck, no way.
No, literally. And like, oh God, I'm supposed to move up to Washington with my empath, and his dad is the supportive dude. And I'm just like, please no group hugs. And he's like, there's gonna be a group hug. And I'm just like, no,
Right.
please. Please stay away from me. And then he's like, nope, you're getting a group hug. And I'm like, no, please.
So you feel sad. Oh, I wish I had that, but don't touch me.
It's so complicated.
Yeah. I get it.
Oh man.
So your family life is complicated.
Mhm.
You're their favorite child, but you're skeptical of them.
No, I know I'm the favorite child, but I have like no connection to them. It's so strange.
What's their names? What's their phone number? I'll call them up.
I told myself that I would
actually, surprise, they're here now. Please welcome.
I would just run out the door. I told myself though, like, as you know, I've started my healing journey, that I would want to connect more with them by the time that they have passed on. Like, I want to build that. I didn't used to want anything with them. I was just like, I want them to be grandparents to my kids that I want to have someday once I'm more healed. And now I'm just like, okay, I want to feel literally anything, something for the people that birthed me, like literally anything that would be nice.
Birthed me.
Yeah, like they're my parents, you know, like I
Yeah.
want to feel like something for them, you know, like it
I
makes
mean,
sense that I should. I
yeah.
want to
I
try,
mean,
I want to
yeah.
heal, I want to get to that point where I have healed enough where I'm the mature one. They had hard lives and I know that.
Right. I was going to ask that. Do you think they're dealing with trauma
Oh God,
and
yes.
it's
Like,
been like their
oh
parenting
baby.
styles have caused?
Oh my God. I know for a fact my dad struggles with empathy. I think he has antisocial traits,
Mm,
as in like ASBD.
mm,
I think my mother struggles with empathy, but in a different way where she may have like, I don't know, my dad definitely struggles with empathy. And I know that for certain. I don't know what my mom's issue is, but I know that I can't expose her. I'm
mm,
not going to do that on the podcast, but I know that they have trauma. And
mhm,
I don't think that they were strong enough to be the generation, the cycle breakers. And I'm
mhm,
gonna have to be that person. And I pride myself on being like strong enough to not only be the cycle breaker, but to make history as like a narcissist that's willing to do this because it's very rare. And I know that, like I know how
mhm,
rare it is to speak out like this to someone with NPD. So it
mhm.
drives me. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. That was one of my questions for you that I sent you was like, what
Yeah.
inspired you to start your page and to be so open about it and
Well,
your page on Instagram? I mean,
yeah, making history, first of all, like knowing that no one has ever really done what I'm doing. There are a few other pages out there that are claiming to be self-aware narcissists, but I don't know if I enjoy their approach. I'm not going to name names. It's
you're in
kind of
competition with them. It sounds like.
a little bit, but it's not even maybe a little bit, but it's not even the competition that I dislike. It's the way that they just play into the stigma. They are really just,
Mm,
I want to just say sellouts without naming names again. They just they basically tell people what they want to hear. Oh, yes, the narcissist does do this, guys. Oh, for sure. Follow me. That's their
mm,
rhetoric. Follow me and I'll tell you what you want to hear about your narcissist. And then I'm just like, nope, here's the truth, guys. Like, here's why I suffer. Here's why I do what I do. Like, and I try not to edit anything. I just try to be as honest as possible. And the other reason why I started my page, if you want me to be completely honest,
of course.
I did start it for followers at first. And I've told everyone this. Everyone knows this already. This is like a very well-known story. I was surprised how quickly I gained followers. That was the part. I was like, oh yes, followers for the first time in my life.
The attention I've been looking for.
Oh, the attention. And I felt special because I brought something to the community that no one had ever seen before, which was me and my empath's dynamic, which
Mhm.
was like rare. Like a lot of people were on there posting about, cluster B, but I was having this dynamic with an empath. And um, God, every time I feel like I'm romanticizing that, I'm like, people are gonna hate me. I mean, he is
Are you looking
someone
at
with
him?
what?
When you looked off camera, were you looking at him? Is he there?
No. I
Oh,
was just
okay.
imagining, I was like looking at the invisible audience of people hating me. He's to explain, he is someone with ADHD, which is common for people to be hyper empathetic, and he has BPD traits. So um and the my empath thing is kind of like a cute thing we do. But anyway, yeah, I just don't want to get canceled. Please don't cancel me.
I don't know
But
why
like
that'd be bizarre if you got canceled in the narcissistic community
there's only
because
some people that have complained about it, but
you're
like,
just being honest.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
But what was I saying? Yeah, so I started gaining followers, and at first it was just about the followers, but I told people that, and I was honest from the beginning, and I said like the moment where it became more than that, because these people, I did not expect this, but they freaking saved me, man. Like they saved me from the darkest period in my life. I found other people with my diagnosis and people with BPD who became, some of my best friends. Like there's this guy, Joe. Like shout out to Joe. He's amazing. And Joe, if you're listening to this, like when it comes out, I love you, dude. Like you're fucking incredible. He has worked me through some of the worst moments of my life. He's been there when I raged out a few times, and he's just been like, "Oh, you narc. Like, let's wait till she calms down. Okay, I'm here. I love you." Like, he's just been incredible. He's my gay bestie. Like, he's so awesome. And like,
Did you just out him?
Oh no, he's
Okay.
he is out and proud.
Okay.
He's out and proud, and I love it.
That would have been juicy. Then you would have been canceled.
Then I would have been canceled. No, I literally posted a guy that was just like my friend on my story, and I was like, "Okay, guys, it was something serious about the dude," and he just like texted me, and he was like, "Oh my God, he is like a 10." And I'm like, "Joe, focus on the problem, man. Focus on the serious stuff, man."
I look at your I look at your stories all the time. I rarely read at all because there's a lot of text. Like, and you'll have like 30 a day. And it's like, I'm not reading all that.
I try to keep it. I try to keep it at 10. I mean, I do a lot. Yeah.
Well, you'll show a conversation, and then a response, and then a paragraph and I'm like,
oh yeah, no,
because I think I have ADHD myself. So it's like,
I feel like the people with ADHD, they probably just like look at the first 5, and I'm okay with that because then I get people saying, "Oh my God, your life is like a telenovela," or something, like however you say that. Like, "Oh my God, your life is so entertaining. Like, please post more." And I'm just like, I live for you. I live for this text, please. And then the people with ADHD are like, "Oh my God, Tessa, it has posted 500 stories again. Oh my God,
just show me some pretty pictures or something." Where's a picture of your empath? I'm not reading.
Y'all don't have to read all that stuff. But anyway, yeah, what was I saying? Oh yeah, I told everyone the moment that I was serious, and like it became more than just following to me. And there's so many people I could shout out, like, oh God, who's someone else? Oh, the nameless narcissist. Shout out to him. I'm not gonna say
follow him.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say his real name. He would like smite me if I said, because the nameless narcissist, he wants to remain nameless, but he's fantastic and just amazing. And he is one of the only other honest people on YouTube. The cluster
YouTube. He's a YouTuber.
He's a YouTuber. He has an Instagram, but only because I like bullied him into starting it. I was just like, dude,
you controlled him.
Yeah, I was like, come on, man, you gotta start your Instagram. There's people asking about you. Because I posted like his, what did I do? Like a YouTube video of his, and then people were like, "We want to see his Instagram. We want to see his Instagram," because he was like wearing glasses, and I guess that's mysterious. People want to see your face or something. I guess that's like
it's like Clark Kent.
Yeah, like I mean, like apparently, like that's an NPD symbol, is wearing glasses because of like the facade thing.
It's like a mask.
Do
you follow?
But yeah,
you follow Mind Over Mood?
I've heard of her. I don't think I do.
Okay.
Is she one of your besties?
Yeah.
Is she like?
She's my social media bestie. And it's funny. I've talked to a few people that I've met on TikTok and Instagram and stuff that I've interviewed for the podcast, and it's like you hear about all the negative things about social media and how it causes anxiety in people and all this stuff. And it's like,
it can, but you make friends, you make close bonds sometimes.
Yeah. You find people that can relate, and you get this little support group going and stuff. And it can really polarizing, I guess.
It can really boost you up. Yeah. Because like if you're having a bad day and you just go on and you're like, "Hey, Joe, I want to talk to you," or something, like one of your friends on there. You're like, because you know that person can relate to you when maybe someone in real life couldn't, like, I have good friends in real life, but God, they just either don't know my diagnosis or they just, yeah, they don't get it, like some people just don't get it. Yeah.
Yeah. So please tell all the listeners, Tessa, how did you get diagnosed?
Okay, so my diagnosis story is pretty like interesting. So when COVID started in 2020, my parents put our entire house on lockdown, including me and all my brothers. And we kind of went stir crazy. And it wasn't as bad for my brothers as it was for me because I kind of need like people and attention to survive. So after like 2 months, I think I kind of like lost it and I actually ran away to my ex's house and I was in my rebellious phase and everything. So I started doing a lot of drugs. Not the best start. I know, but like yeah, like everything from alcohol to weed to lots of things. And my parents found out and I was on like medication at the time, so they were furious. They were just furious anyway because they're very uptight people. So they told my psychiatrist and my therapist, and literally they were so mad that they couldn't control me because I was out of the house and they couldn't bring me back in because they were terrified of COVID. They were those types of people that like literally wore a mask everywhere, didn't go out. They were just so mad at me. That they like, yeah, they basically told all my doctors and made my psychiatrist request a neuropsych exam, and he requested a differential diagnosis, which is just basically like examine this lady. So they did a bunch of tests, like they did a full neuropsych exam, which is like attention tests, intelligence tests, and I was not compliant. I was not very happy about that. And I actually smoked cannabis during the testing, and my neuropsychologist was like, literally, like, why? And I was just like, well, I find it insulting that you're testing my intelligence. And literally, I can just like imagine her writing on her freaking notepad, arrogant little shit, or something like that. Literally, what the fuck?
Entitled bitch.
No, I was literally like, no, but really, like, how dare you? Like, you're testing my intelligence. Like, for what? What if I get 1 point off? So, like, I'm dumb or something? Like, how dare you? Like, how freaking, I'm still so mad. I can't.
I can see your face getting red.
I'm angry. Like this lasts. This shit lasts. But yeah, so they did that, and then they would have me also like do tests where like there was like a red dot on a screen and I had to click every time I saw it. I had to like remember a list of words, so I think that was memory or something. And then I had to take the MCMI and the MPI, which are really long tests with really weird questions. Have you ever heard of them?
No.
They're like, God, they're these horrible tests that have validity scales, as I later found out. And God, I tried to present myself in like the way I wanted to, but validity scales check your answers. And like they apparently like somehow know how to, I guess, like, yeah, like figure you out. So I was diagnosed shortly after that with NPD, just like a personality disorder. And then that was the one I scored. I maxed out on the category. You're right.
100%.
I got 100%. I passed.
I am smart.
Exactly. I'm smart. God damn it. No, but like, oh my God. I was just like, oh, Jesus. And then that was in December 2020, and I was, I think, 22 at the time, and I'm 23 now, so I'm almost 24, so it's been almost 2 years. And I had my psychedelic ego death in January 2021, So that was after I was diagnosed, because guess what I did after? I just went and did more drugs. I was just like, I'm not doing this shit. I was like, I'm not dealing with this. This sucks.
Yeah. I'm trying to avoid my feelings, damn it.
Exactly. And I was just like, and of course the universe kicked my ass for it. But yeah, that's my diagnosis story. And it was very interesting. And when my partner later found out I maxed out on the category, he just laughed at me and he was just like, "You're my narcissist." And I was like, I was like covering my face. Oh no.
Well,
yeah,
well, at least you know, and you're like, you know, you're aware, which is a big part of it. You're accepted the diagnosis, it seems, so that's even a bigger part.
Literally, I didn't accept it until, it's kind of ironic. The day I accepted it was when I found out how rare narcissists are.
I'm special.
I know, literally. I was like, oh wait, we're actually really rare. Oh, okay, I'm never mind. Like, okay, I'm a narcissist. Like, this is proof. Like, I'm really unique. And then I was like, oh God.
I love that. It's actually not ironic, really, when you think about it. It's actually, yeah.
And people challenge me all the time on that. They're like, no, they're not rare. And I'm like, well, narcissistic traits are not rare.
Right.
But those are common when people get into like, I mean, traits arise when you've been through a traumatic situation, and you know, it's a defensive mechanism. So like, it's, if you've been through something tough, traits are going to pop out. But the difference between like NPD and just traits is like, NPD is like consistent across all time and all moods and all years, and it usually starts around like, maybe I think like 17 or 18. And it is lifelong, and traits will be like situational sometimes. So like, yeah, for people who are wondering, that's actually really important. Like traits, maybe you went through a tough situation at work and you're grumpy or really angry at something, or maybe you went through a traumatic situation and you're defensive. Those traits will appear, but once the situation's over, it could take a year, it could take 6 months, it could take 3 months. Those traits will dissipate once the situation dissipates, if that makes sense. That's so important, because people always ask, what's the difference? Like, how can I tell if it's just traits in a person? Also, you have to suffer. Like, if you have the actual diagnosis, the symptoms have to get in the way of your life. Right. So if you just have traits, you're going to be like, you're not going to be suffering or like in distress too much. Maybe there's some arrogant fucking people out there that just have like, I don't know.
There's dickheads.
Yeah, or like maybe they were raised like super, super rich. I mean, I'm talking like millionaires, like billionaires, and they don't have like they don't have a scope of the world. They don't know what it's like to be not having those things. So maybe, yeah, they're out of touch. Yeah. Like, God, what was it? Like Kim Kardashian recently said something that was so fucking funny. She was like, you just gotta work hard or something like that. It was in the news. yeah. And people were cracking up. You're just like, lady, you're so out of touch. I mean, even I know I'm a freaking narcissist, and I'm just like, what? Like, I work hard. I'm working hard for my fame. I'm working hard for my stuff. I'm just like, oh my God. Like, it's out of touch, arrogance and stuff like that. Yeah. When people try to control other people, control is like so safe. Okay. When I came on this podcast, I felt initially like I was uncomfortable with the lack of control. Now I feel pretty great because like I've eased into it. And
I'm so good looking and charming.
Oh, thank you.
No, I am.
Oh, I thought you were complimenting me. No, I'm mad.
Because I'm good looking and charming. You've relaxed. You are a narcissist. You thought I was talking about you.
I'm just like gonna be so happy. You should compliment me now. No, I'm just kidding.
You're like, well, no, like, you're a fat old hairy man. No, okay. Sorry,
No,
sorry.
you're great. You're great. Okay. What was I saying? Well, so control,
Right.
when people act in a controlling way, it's because it feels safe. Like they want their environment to be safe. And usually that comes from some sort of trauma. And, like maybe when he's controlling everyone in his bubble, it's because he wants to feel safe with like the people around him. Maybe he's afraid that they're going to leave him, or like that's a common thing more with like
Mm.
needy, or
Hmm.
maybe I don't know. It could be many
Yeah.
things. Where someone sees a manipulative jerk, maybe it could be someone who's terrified of the people around him leaving him if
Right.
he doesn't manipulate them. It's
Right.
just fascinating to me. Oh God, I love psychology so much.
Well,
I
the other
do.
thing is too, it's like it's hard to compare trauma. So like maybe it was trauma for him, but I look at his trauma and I'm like, that's not trauma. Poo poo, right? And I poo poo it, but
I
because
see it from that lens too. I mean, it's
it's a
easier for me to,
spectrum, right?
yeah. I mean, like I see it from the lens of someone who has manipulated people in the past because of trauma, as a trauma response. Sometimes I don't even know I'm doing it. Um, so like it's easier for me to be like, no, that could be this, that could be that. This person could be doing all these things. Like
Yeah.
I'm not really like the type of person to be afraid of people leaving me. I don't really care. Like, cause I could just replace them. But like, it's, what do I do? Like, it's, what is it for me? It's like, I feel like, I tended in the past, I'm trying to do this way less now, but like, I tended to see people as like props in this grand play that was my life. And I was trying to relive all the experiences I had missed out on. And there were so many. And, I would just be like upset if this person wouldn't be playing their part. I would just be really like sad almost, or like bitter or resentful. And I would just be like, come on, like, I wouldn't see it as manipulation as much as like just disappointed, or like I would be disappointed if that made sense.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and sometimes I'd get rid of people just for not playing their part in my so-called story of my life, if that makes
Mm-hmm.
sense.
You're cut
Yeah.
from the play.
Yeah. Like it was kind of like that. But I didn't see it as like, I can't wait to target people. That's what people
Yeah,
think
right. No.
narcissists do.
Yeah.
Oh
You're
God.
looking for marks. I'm gonna fuck that guy up.
No.
Yeah.
And I'm
No.
sure some people do that, but most narcissists really don't do that. I mean, if you're thinking about what a narcissist really is, it's somebody who is really like focused on themselves and who they are, and they're not going to be targeting people because that takes a lot of focus on the other person. And I just don't understand why people don't understand that. Like
Mm-hmm.
they're thinking about how you can make them feel, how you can make them like, yeah, like what can you do in their life, if they're
Mm-hmm.
untreated, if they're being treated, if they're healing, they're going to try to think outside themselves about you as much as they can, hopefully.
Mm. Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is kind of it's almost the opposite of what the stereotype is. It's like you're not focusing on that person to manipulate them. You're
No,
focusing on them for you to make you feel better about yourself.
it's the stereotype is insane. Like, how do they get that? Like, I think it's a lot of hurt people that really want an answer. They really want to have someone to blame. Like, they want their abuser to make sense, and they just think, like, this person really did want to hurt me. It's easier to think that when you're hurt, just to explain it. Like, if you've ever been abused, it's just like, okay, that person did want to hurt me. They were out to get me, and I was this victim. And, like it's easier for them to say that rather than they were part of this confusing relationship with someone who was unhealed, and that they were also unhealed. They were in a relationship where they were enabling a unhealed person, and that means they were also unhealed, probably codependent or something else. I mean, I live with a partner who's codependent. And he is very unhealed, and he's done behaviors that I find toxic. And like, it's both, it takes two to tango. It takes two to tango. I always say, I'm not like saying that people deserve the abuse they get. Abuse is not okay. But like, I'm saying that it takes two to tango in a toxic relationship.
Mm-hmm.
like the healing on both sides is exactly what me and my partner are doing. Like he's gonna go to therapy. I'm like doing the stuff that I'm doing, and like
Psychedelics and Instagram.
and self CBT, and most likely therapy for myself. Very, very likely. And you're healing on both sides. And I have talks with him, and we work through stuff together as well. Like he'll have he'll have little meltdowns and stuff, and I won't go into it for his privacy, but he'll have some stuff like that, and I'll walk him through it because I'm already a lot healed and stuff, and I know psychology pretty well. So I'll say like, hey, here's why you did this thing. I'm here to help you. I love you. Like, can we work on a compromise? Because no matter what the diagnosis is of the people who are in the relationship, what matters is that boundaries are respected and that you compromise with the people in the relationship. And if that's happening and boundaries are being respected on both sides and compromising is happening, it doesn't matter if it's a narcissist and a codependent, ADHD partner. It doesn't matter if it's a borderline and a narcissist. It doesn't matter if it's two narcissists. It doesn't matter if it's anybody. I think anybody can be together. I think love is an incredible healing force. I think it's insane, like, that it even exists. I didn't believe in love. And, now I'm sitting here like, I'm disgusted at myself, honestly. Like, this is sappy shit. I shouldn't be saying this. Like, it's just like, it heals, like.
Plus, he's a great kisser.
No, that's hilarious. That was so fucking funny. All that, yeah, no, like love is like the shit. It really does heal. And I feel like one of the reasons I hate the stigma the most is that if my partner had listened to those articles about narcissists and had just run away or whatever, I wouldn't be sitting here today, because it was his faith in me and, his belief in me that got me to where I am today, because he was kind of seeing through me already when, like, even before I was diagnosed, and he was pushing me to realize, like, self-realize and to accept myself and to accept love. And he was there in my darkest time, and he was saying, you're not pathetic for feeling, crying isn't pathetic, like, you're healing, this is important, I'm always going to be here for you. I know you never got this in childhood. And there's points where my feelings still shut off, and like I become really apathetic, and I always say that's the worst. I like for people to be around me when I'm like that. Like I get all narky, and I'm like, like, don't be around me when I'm like that. But he understands me. He doesn't demonize me. I've done some things, like, and he just understands that that's like my symptoms, and he's just like, she can manage them. And I do manage them. I have like techniques that I am going to share on my YouTube and stuff. And I just need the time to figure out how, because literally there's no therapists. Therapists don't really want to help us because of the stigma. There's like nothing out there. I'm like, the trajectory is being made by people like me and the nameless narcissist and, other people like that. We are the history makers. And like, that's insane. Like there's nothing out there for people like us right now. And the fact that like, he's willing to sit there, and be there for me, and not listen to the bullshit is meaningful as hell,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What a sucker. He's such a sucker. I'm kidding.
All right, that's it. I'm walking out.
Be sure to subscribe and to like this video. You can listen on Apple Podcast and Spotify. This is Todd Rennebaum saying, make your beds and take your meds. Keep watching for more interviews with incredible people telling their stories of resilience and adversity with mental health and mental illness.